It's the difference between being average and being unstoppable. Every great leader, every high performer, every person who built something lasting started with clarity. Before they had resources, before they had support, before they had momentum, they had a clear vision. That vision pulled them through the storms. That clarity became their compass when everything else went dark. So if you're tired of being stuck, if you're tired of feeling lost, don't look for motivation first. Look for clarity. Motivation fades, clarity sustains. Stop saying, I don't know what to do. You do know. Deep down, you've always known. You're just afraid to admit it because once you do, you can't hide behind confusion anymore. Once you say it out loud, you become responsible for chasing it. But that's the moment your life changes, when you decide to stop being vague and start being specific. Clarity demands courage because it removes your excuses. It puts the spotlight on your actions. So get clear, define it, write it down, visualize it, break it into steps. Feel it so deeply that it becomes a part of you. Because once your mind sees it clearly, your body, your habits, your energy, they'll all follow. You'll start walking differently, talking differently, working differently. That's the power of clarity. It turns a someday into it turns our wish into our will. It turns confusion into confidence and fear into focus. Clarity is not a luxury. It's a necessity. If you want to lead, if you want to grow, if you want to become unstoppable, you need to see exactly where you're going and who you're becoming. Because when you finally get clear, you stop chasing everything and you start creating something. 2, stop dreaming in vague terms. Get specific and ruthless. That's when most people lose the battle before they even start. They talk about what they want, but it's always foggy, always soft, always undefined. I want success. I want to be rich. I want to be happy. Those words sound good, but they mean nothing if they don't carry a plan, a picture, and a purpose. The truth is, life doesn't reward vague desires. Life rewards precision, clarity, and discipline. You can't just wish for something. You've got to define it so clear that there's no confusion in your mind about what you're chasing. Vague dreams feel safe because they don't hold you accountable. If you never define what easy success looks like for you, then you never have to face the pressure of failing. That's why so many people keep their goals blurry. It gives them an excuse to stay comfortable. But real growth begins when you get specific enough that you can't hide behind generalities anymore. When you can say, this is what I want, this is how I'll get it, and this is when I'll achieve it. That's when the dream stops being a fantasy and starts becoming a mission. The world is full of dreamers who never cross the line into doers because they're afraid of getting specific. The moment you define your goal, you also define what it will cost you. And that's what separates the real ones from the rest. Getting specific means accepting the sacrifices. It means saying, I will wake up at 5 a.m. every day to build this. It means saying, I will study 3 hours a night until I master the skill. It means you can no longer say one day. Because when your goal is specific, one day turns into a deadline and now the clock is ticking. You want to make your dreams happen? Start by writing them down like instructions for your life. Don't just say, I want to be fit. Say, I want to lose 25 pounds by March 1st through daily workouts and a clean meal plan. Don't say, I want to be successful. Say, I want to earn $100,000 this year by building my business, closing 10 new clients, and growing my online presence. When you define your dream like that, you're not just hoping anymore, you're building a blueprint. And once you have that power, there's nothing in the world you can't accomplish. Because when you no longer need to feel good to take action, you've already beaten 99% of the world. Discipline is also what separates those who dream from those who achieve. Everyone wants a better body, a better career, a better life, but wanting is cheap. Working is expensive. You have to pay the price every single day. And here's the thing, you can't cheat the process. You can't skip days, skip work, skip pain, and still expect results. The grind is the tuition for your goals. Every day you show up, you're paying your dues. Every day you push through resistance, you're building strength. Every day you execute despite doubt, you're earning credibility with your future self. When you build your discipline, you start to understand that success isn't about massive leaps. It's about consistent steps. It's not about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up relentlessly. The most powerful transformation happens when you stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, as long as it takes. That's the moment your goals stop being wishes and start becoming realities. Because discipline doesn't rely on conditions. It relies on commitment. You do it because it must be done, not because you feel like doing it. Let's be honest, there will be days when you don't see progress, days when the grind feels pointless, when your effort feels invisible. Those are the days that define you. Those are the days that separate the dreamers from the doers from the do. Anyone can work when it's easy, but discipline means working when it's not. It means pushing when no one sees, believing when no one claps, and showing up when your mind screams, stop. Those are the moments that build champions. That's when your mind learns that comfort is not the goal. Growth is. You've got to understand that every disciplined action compounds. One disciplined day won't change your life, but 1,000 will. One disciplined choice won't change who you are, but thousands will. Every small action adds up until one day you look back and realize you've become someone unrecognizable, someone unstoppable. So if you're serious about your goals, don't just write them down. Build the habits that make them real. Wake up earlier. Cut distractions. Stay focused. Be ruthless with your time. Be loyal to your purpose. Let the world sleep while you work. Let them doubt while you deliver. Because in the end, it's not about who wants it more. It's about who's willing to do it longer. Discipline is the ultimate form of self-respect. It's telling yourself, I'm not going to waste my potential another day. And when you live with that mindset, you stop chasing success. Success starts chasing you. 5. Most people set goals based on how they feel in the moment, not on who they want to become. That's why they start strong and fade fast. Real success doesn't come from emotional bursts. It comes from a relentless focus on the why behind your goals. If your reasons aren't strong enough, your excuses will always win. The truth is, life is going to test you. It's going to throw distractions, setbacks, and pain at you. And when that happens, the only thing that keeps you going isn't motivation, it's purpose. Purpose is the engine that drives discipline. And without it, your goals are just words on a piece of paper. You can write them, say them, visualize them. But if you don't have a powerful why that hits your soul, you'll quit the moment it gets uncomfortable. You need to understand this. Goals tell you what you want, but your why tells you why it matters. The why is the emotional fuel behind your mission. It's the fire that keeps burning when everything else falls apart. Fear will always be there. It's a sign you're stepping into something that matters. The goal isn't to eliminate it. The goal is to master it. When fear shows up, it's not a warning to stop. It's a signal to prepare. It's your mind saying you're entering new territory. And that's exactly where transformation happens. You can't evolve while staying inside your comfort zone. Growth lives in the places that make you uncomfortable. Every major breakthrough in your life will come right after a moment of deep fear. You have to start using fear as fuel, not as a wall. Instead of saying, oh, what if I fail? Start asking, what if I succeed? Instead of saying, what if they judge me? Ask, what if they respect me for trying? The shift in mindset changes everything, because fear doesn't disappear when you succeed. It just evolves. No, the higher you climb, the bigger your fears become, but so does your capacity to handle them. That's how confidence is built. By collecting evidence that you can face what scares you and still move forward. Every time you act despite fear, you expand the limits of what you believe is possible for yourself. Doubt, on the other hand, is fear's twin. It creeps in quietly, questioning your worth, your talent, your timing. It tells you you're not good enough or someone else can do it better. But doubt is not truth, it's noise. It's the echo of past failures and old conditioning that you've accepted as reality. You have to understand that your mind is wired to keep you safe, not successful. So when doubt starts speaking, it's just trying to protect you from the unknown. But if you let doubt rule your decisions, you'll never leave the cage it built for you. You can't control when doubt shows up, but you can control what you do when it does. The best way to silence doubt is through execution. Action is the antidote to fear and the enemy of hesitation. The moment you take one small step, the grip of fear weakens. The noise in your head starts to quiet down. You realize that the monsters you imagined weren't as big as you thought. They were just magnified by inaction. That's why hesitation is dangerous. The longer you wait, the stronger your fear becomes. The only way to beat it is to move imperfectly, consistently, relentlessly. The problem is most people think they need confidence to start. They don't realize that confidence is earned by starting. Every expert you see today was once a beginner who doubted themselves. The difference, they didn't let that doubt define them. They acted anyway. They pushed through awkwardness, rejection, and embarrassment until doubt lost its power. You don't overcome fear by reading about courage. You overcome it by walking straight into what scares you. You learn by doing, by failing, by adjusting, and by doing it again. Let me tell you something powerful. Fear is a compass. The things that scare you the most are often the very things that can change your life. Fear points directly at your growth. When you feel resistance towards something that aligns with your goals, that's your sign to lean in, not run away. Fear is the border between who you are and who you're meant to become. Every time you cross it, you level up. Every time you avoid it, you stay the same. So ask yourself, how long have you been standing on the edge of what you want, waiting for the fear to fade? How much longer are you going to let it dictate your life? The truth is, you can't control the fear, but you can control your focus. Stop focusing on what could go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. Stop imagining worst-case scenarios and start visualizing best-case outcomes. Because your mind follows your focus. Whatever you feed it, it becomes. If you keep feeding it fear, you'll always find reasons to quit. But if you feed it faith, you'll always find reasons to keep going. You have to make a decision that your dreams are worth more than your fears. You need an environment that makes you feel like quitting is not an option. When you build that kind of circle, when you create that kind of energy around you, your goals stop being distant dreams and start becoming inevitable realities. So be ruthless about your environment. Be intentional about your circle. Protect your focus like your life depends on it, because it does. Your goals, your purpose, your legacy, they all depend on what and who you let influence you. The wrong environment will kill your vision quietly. The right one will set it on fire. Choose wisely. You've got one life, one shot, one story that you get to write, and nobody else can write it for you. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. The only perfect moment is the one you create when you stop making excuses and start moving with purpose. Listen, every single dream you've ever had is waiting on you. Not your friends, not your family, not your circumstances, you. The world doesn't care about what you say you want. It watches what you're willing to do to get it. You can talk about your goals all day long, but until your actions scream louder than your words, nothing changes. You've got to be willing to grind when no one's cheering, to sacrifice comfort for clarity, and to push through the days when motivation disappears, because it will. The difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't luck. It's the ones who refuse to quit when it gets uncomfortable. Every person who ever built something legendary started exactly where you are right now. Uncertain, scared, doubting, but moving anyway. That's what separates dreamers from doers. The ability to keep going when it feels like nothing is working. You got to see your goal so clearly that nothing, not rejection, not failure, not time, can blind you from it. You've got to wake up and remind yourself every single morning, this is my time, my season, my mission, because when your vision becomes your obsession, your behavior changes automatically. You stop procrastinating, you stop seeking approval, you stop explaining yourself to people who don't get it. You start executing, you start becoming. Your clarity must become your weapon. Your purpose must become your armor. When you know what you want and why you want it, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not doubt, not even pain. The road will test you. It will strip you. It will demand everything you've got. But that's the price of greatness. And if you're not willing to pay it, then you don't deserve it. Every second you waste is a second you could be building your dream. So stop talking and start acting. Stop planning and start producing. Stop wishing and start working, because success doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who show up every day, even when it hurts. So right now, I'm asking you, how bad do you want it? How far are you willing to go? Because your life will only change when your hunger becomes bigger than your excuses. There's a stronger, more focused version of you waiting on the other side of your discipline, but you'll never meet that version if you keep running from the hard work. Get clear, get focused, get ruthless with your habits. Decide what you want and then fight for it like your life depends on it, because it does. You don't have time to be average anymore. You've got a legacy to build, a vision to live, and a purpose to fulfill. So get clear on your goals. Not tomorrow, not next week, now. Get up, lock in, and make them happen. The world's waiting to see what happens when you finally stop holding back and give it everything you've got.